How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Dyson Sphere Program. Hope you guys have been enjoying the series so far. If you guys have, you guys know what to do. Smash the like button. If you haven't already, consider subscribing as it does help out the channel. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns for me or anything about the series, leave those down below. And let's get into today's episode. So, in the last episode, we finished off on Beta Rindy 2? Can't remember these planets' names anymore. Beta Rindy 2. We were over there, we were doing the titanium alloy, and I noticed power has been fluctuating both here on our home planet and there. Well, turns out the thing we needed was that titanium alloy, so let's go ahead and get all that hooked up so that way we can get power restored. So I think our next couple objectives for the factory are going to be looking at what do we need to finish getting science going again. So that way I can finish off getting like space exploration and just all the other sciences that I have left. I only have like a handful. There's very few left. But I just want to finish those off just so that way I have them. And then I can pretty much just pump everything into building out the Dyson Sphere. So we are getting there. I would say maybe another week or two. Maybe 3. But probably no more than 4. I would say no more than 4 episodes left for the series. Obviously, that's going to be highly dependent on how productive I am during each episode. So it very well could be more than 4, but I'm shooting for probably about 4 more weeks of episodes. We'll see how things go. And that's not including like a finale, look at the whole factory, look at all the things we did, kind of in more depth. That is unincluded, separate things. So 5 videos for sure, probably. And then I'm not 100% sure on what we're going to replace the series with. I'm guessing either RimWorld or 7 days. At the current time of recording, 7 days. I'm waiting on a patch to see if that fixes some of the issues with the quests. Once that happens, we'll start a 7 Days to Die series with a friend or 2 of mine. I'm not sure who's all going to be joining me for that. Otherwise, we'll do RimWorld, which I will be recording actually tomorrow. Again, at the time of recording, it's the day after. It's also the day that this video went live. So, for those of you watching in the future, those series that I'm talking about in hypotheticals have either already happened in one form or another, and you could probably go check those out. Also, go check out some of the other series we've done on the channel. We have a completed Factorio series, modded Angels, Bobs Plus. We also have been doing a Diablo series, Diablo 4. I'm trying to think what else we've done. There's a current incomplete RimWorld series that, yeah, I started that one at a very bad time. And then a Minecraft series, which is also going very well. So hopefully we can add to that. If there's any game that you are interested in seeing me play, hopefully it's a game that I can turn into a Let's Play. So try to shoot for those types of games. If it is not a game that is Let's Playable, say like Hell Let Loose or Starship Troopers Extermination, both games I really enjoy, but just don't really make very good Let's Plays, definitely let me know down below, and I'll try to fit them into some form of a series. It might not be its own series, but it will probably be a series that features games like it. Anyway, back into the regular scheduled programming. So we're going to go ahead and get some CPUs going, because we're going to need these in order to get the science going. We are starting to get to pretty much all the intermediate, or at least the really easy intermediate products made. So we are going to have to start looking at some of the more advanced things, and I categorize the advanced ones as ones that require 3 or more inputs, and usually those 3 inputs that it require are ones that are of the chemical variety. So those are going to be things like the carbon nanotubes, those are going to be things like the plastic, stuff like that. So I know we are going to start looking at that, because I believe we are going to need that for the other components we need. And I haven't set that area up, so we are going to have to do some demolition, a little bit more in the factory, clean some more things up, get belts all organized, and really look at a couple things. I am having a couple issues on throughput. I don't know if it's that I'm not understanding the inserters properly. For instance, I know the blue ones say 6 trips per second. Is that 6 items per second, or is that each trip is one load of whatever cargo, and each load is dependent? Because I did see that there was a research that affects like load capacity, so I'm unsure about how that is being factored in, because if that's the case, one blue sorter should be able to handle quite a lot. I'll look into it after this after I'm done doing this voiceover. However, if it is something that you guys are somewhat knowledgeable in, please let me know how the capacity of an inserter is calculated for how much it's able to carry. Because again, I see that it does 6 trips per second, but how much stuff is that? Like, how many items per second is that? Yeah, definitely leave helpful information like that down below. Also, if there is more efficient ways of doing something, let me know. Like, again, I know that the sulfuric acid, for instance, we can just mine. I don't have to make it and go through that complex process. But that's one reason I'm doing the space exploration research, or trying to get it back going, is so that way we can look for a planet that has it, because I don't think any of the current systems we have explored have it. So yeah, that's why we're partially doing it, not mining it. If we found the mining or the mineable sulfuric acid, then we would be doing that. But you know, also, as you notice, we are getting closer and closer to science over on the right hand side, so it is making it a little bit more difficult, a little bit more compressed as we go along for how and slash where we're going to put things. So I'm thinking what we're gonna do is we're just gonna probably leave a good chunk of space between the two sides of kind of our main bus, if you will. So it's not really a bus, because everything gets its own dedicated line. There's no pulling. Oh, I should see if I still have my first Dyson Sphere world. I would love to. Maybe I'll include that in the finale. We'll look at that, where I started in this game, and then where I have here. Because my original factory, like my first factory when I played this, it was terrible. Now, I'm sure everybody's factory, their very first factory in games like this, Factorio, Satisfactory, pretty much any game that has building or like city building, I feel like everybody can unanimously agree that their first factory is probably absolute garbage. And if you have saves of like your original world for a game, or like original saves, I just recommend, I've done this for other games, where you just go back, you look at everything you've done, and then just try to like reminisce about why you did a certain decision. Like, why did I put this belt here? Why did I decide to build the factory in this way? Because I can tell you wholeheartedly, I remember my first factory for this, because it wasn't that long ago. I tried to do a main bus concept from like Factorio, where I had a single belt of iron. Actually, I think I did a couple belts of iron. And then I tried to have it pull off of that belt. It was horrendous. Nothing was really ratioed. Nothing was really scalable. It was all just single belts wrapping around the planet with like, oh, I was like, oh, let me just throw down 2 or 3 machines, make some stuff. 2 or 3 machines, make some stuff. And I was like, this is great. We're doing things. And I got to be able to launch solar sails. And I was like, awesome. I'm getting solar sails. Really not fully aware that we kind of need a much larger setup if we even hope to be able to do Dyson Sphere in its entirety. I never got to that part. I as mentioned previously in this campaign much earlier, I only really got to, I think, yellow science. I don't even think I got that far. I definitely didn't get to green, but it's insane. I really didn't do a whole lot of like the transporting. I didn't do multi-world stuff. What I did is I set up like miners and some wind turbines on another planet, and I manually transported the ore myself. It was, I definitely did not know anything. I mean, I still am very much in the process of learning this game, because from what your guys' comments have suggested, this game can get quite complex with entire planet factories. I think mine's pretty large. I know it's not because there's still a large chunk of the planet that I haven't really even used. But from what I was reading, a couple of you guys' comments, from what it sounded like, is you guys had entire worlds of just single blueprints where it's like this planet's making CPUs, this planet's making this. I was like, whoa, that seems incredible. Definitely not to that level yet. Hopefully, keyword yet. I would love to do a mega base in this. Um, I don't really know what a mega base in Dyson Sphere Program would look like. I'm kind of curious actually now that I'm thinking about it, what a mega base for this game would even possibly look like. In all honesty, because I feel like it would look pretty good. But we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'll do that. Make a, you know what? Let's try that in our next playthrough of this. Do a, I think our next playthrough is going to be when they do the new update, which from, I don't know how much you guys have been following the dev blogs. I'm sure you guys have been following them a lot more than I have. But from what it looks like and kind of sounds like is they're getting close. And by close, I mean probably within about a year. Close. I know they said they want to get it within the year, or by the end of 2023 is their goal. Air quotations, goal. Because as I think a lot of us know, a lot of us avid gamers can probably strongly agree that when a game developer says, we'll get it this year, sometimes this year includes part of next year, which I'm okay with. I'd rather have a lot of the bugs and stuff ironed out now than get something in a very kind of messy, sloppy state, because it's not like they're adding something new that fits into the mold. They're very much changing up the core gameplay loop. So I'm excited to see that. I'm excited to see how that impacts the game. Also, in case anybody's wondering what I'm currently working on in the CPU land, so I changed over the belts, but I didn't realize that the sorters actually picked something up and kept it basically in their arm or in their little basket, just like an inserter would in Factorio if it can't put it into the assembler. So I didn't realize that, so I had to fix that. So I have to manually go through. I tried to fix it through blueprints, but that didn't seem to work. If there's a better way of clearing out sorters besides just going around and manually doing it, please let me know. That'd be great. I don't like doing it. I've only had to do it like 2 or 3 times, but it's still not fun. I do have that stone area over to the right that I have to do something with. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with it. It hasn't been in the way. Kind of my general consensus is if it's not in the way, I'm not going to really demolish it just yet, because that's a lot of work for me, because then I have to move all the little components. So here I'm just kind of looking at my ratio. So I know I've probably mentioned this before, but on my other monitor, I keep my spreadsheet up of kind of everything I need, how much I need, all those fun things. And so I'm sitting here, I was looking at this, and I was like, this doesn't quite look like how much the output should be. Because I believe the output's 2 blue belts. I don't have my spreadsheet pulled up anymore, but from when I was doing this, I'm pretty sure it was 2 blue belts of CPUs out. Or, yeah, I think it was 2. No, maybe. I don't know. No, yes, it was, because that's why I did the input that way. So I was like, okay, well, let me go look over here. Let's look downstream, or upstream. Let's look upstream. I was like, okay, well, we're gonna look here, and I'm like, it's not all going in. And then I was like, oh, okay, well, we have to move it. But this is where that question comes in of, okay, so the inserter, or the sorter, says it can move 6 trips per second. Okay. How much stuff does it move in a single trip? Because from my understanding, I have no idea. I tried to calculate it. I have no idea. Because I figured that belt, one full belt of 20 of those machines, is approximately 1720. We'll actually see that here in a minute when I put a monitor on that thing. So I was like, okay, so based on that, and my theory is we need 5 sorters to empty 1 blue belt. And I was like, well, that's 6 times 5, so 30 items per second. That's assuming 1 item per second per trip. So I was like, okay, well, that can't be. Because I thought I got some sorter upgrades that increase how much we can haul per cargo run. So, and kind of turn it into like a stack sorter, kind of like a stack inserter from Factorio, where it, picks up a stack of items or unloads a stack of items really, really quickly. So I was like, well, maybe that's the case. I'm not really sure. Please let me know how these damn things work, how I can figure out the number it's moving properly so that I can ratio things out a little bit better. Because this is kind of that squirrely mess that's going to start forming if I can't quite figure it out. Because I'm really just trying to figure out how I can get one blue belt in, one blue belt out, basically. Well, actually, I need two blue belts out because I need to combine them into one double compressed belt. So, two belts on one for the other thing, so that way I don't have to have two independent belts. I could run two independent belts, but I don't really want to. If I can just run one. I will say that is one thing I like about this game over games like Factorio, where you have a crap ton of resources you need to move from point A to point B, and the only real way to do it is just a lot of belts. Yes, you can use bots in Factorio, but for our representation, if I need to move a bunch of things, it's going to be from point A to point B, and it's being used in a belt scenario. I would rather be able to compress the belt if at all possible, and I like that that's something I can do in this. It really, really helps both visually. I'm not actually sure if it helps with performance, but it might negatively impact performance. I'm not entirely sure how things get calculated on the back end. I know this game does have that performance monitor, which I appreciate. I appreciate games that give us that. Because it's nice to just be able to see while I'm in game, so I don't have to pull up other things. Definitely curious though to see what we have for just in general other kind of more additives, I suppose. But here I was looking through, I was trying to see if there was any stats on the sorters. Couldn't find any, because sometimes you can find like, oh, here's the base rate plus all the research you've done. Like, again, I make Factorio references so much, but I think that's probably because that's just the game that I have the most hours in, that is the most similar to this one. And I was like, look, I don't see any sort of stat. It might be there, it might be entirely hidden, but that's just what I saw. So, anyway, anywho's it. So I'm going through, I'm getting things figured out, and so here you can see I put the monitor down 1740? Yeah, about 1727, 1740 per minute. I was like, okay. Then I noticed, okay, there's cargoes in total. So does that mean boxes? Because now if it's that many boxes, then I realized, oh, that meant that's how much is passed through in total, not that's like box per minute thing. Because for a minute I was like, oh, well, it's only showing 800, so maybe that's why, and a ratio, then I divide by trips. Yeah, math didn't work that way when I was doing it. I was trying to come up with new math to make things work at that point. I'm sure it's probably a very quick Google, but I did not do that. I was vibing, I was doing things, and I did not feel like opening a tab and just searching it. I know it sounds incredibly lazy, and it kind of is, but it's like, look, I will figure this out. I want to figure this out before I have to look something up. I always try to do that in everything, is can I figure it out just by looking at it? Can I figure it out based off what the game gave me? Because I feel like that is a mark of a good game, is if I can figure it out without too much like outside help or outside knowledge. Now, there are games that are specifically designed to be really, really challenging in that regard, right? Puzzle games, strategy games. So you might look at things outside the game. But I feel like in a game like this, it should be somewhat clear to the player of how to do something. Although my brain and me decide not to read things a whole lot, so, and actually that's not just this game, but just me in general, I choose not to read directions. I try to figure it out just by the pictures. Sometimes there's not a lot of picture directions. It didn't work very well in this. And then I hadn't played the game in a week, and so I completely forgot all the controls. I probably have done this every single week, but I forget the controls the second I stop playing. Don't know why. Just happens. It happens to... Oh, there was this time I was playing Destiny 2. We were in the middle of a raid. Literally, we were about to get reset, wiped. I forgot how to punch. Like, the most embarrassing thing. I forgot how to punch. I was supposed to punch an enemy. Completely forgot the button. And I was like, guys, how do I melee again? Nobody answered me. And I was like, guys, I honest to God forgot how to melee. Please help. Otherwise, we're going to wipe. And somebody went, what? And I'm pretty sure people didn't think I was being serious. My brain just was like, you know what? We didn't want to complete it. And to be clear, it wasn't like, oh, we just started the encounter and oh, it's fine. No. We were on the literal last part, and all I had to do to progress us to the next encounter was to punch an enemy. And I was like, I forgot. We wiped. People were kind of mad at me, but when they heard that I literally just forgot how to punch, I forgot how to melee, they were like, performance issues? And I'm like, hey, sometimes. For context, I am a Titan player in Destiny 2, so give me all the hate for that I deserve. I'm just saying, One Punch Man, shoulder charge, little OP. That's fine. Anyway, back to Dyson Sphere Program. So here I'm just kind of setting up a rough kind of guideline for that main section down the middle for where we're going to be putting all of the different lanes for things. I figured we have plenty of room there. We can go vertical with all the lanes, and quite frankly, most of them we should be able to send over there to science, because really the only ones that are going to be going that direction or all the way down are going to be the ones that are going to science, meaning we should have quite a lot of extra space to kind of move things between zones. And really the goal is to get things to flow in a particular way, so that way we don't have too much crisscrossing. So here you can see we have 3 inputs. This is one of those more complex items that we're starting to kind of get back into those endgame items. It's also important to note that pretty much all of them are going to require us to go over to the kind of chemical processing area. But unfortunately for today's recording session, we are out of time. So hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. If you guys did, you guys know what to do. Smash that like button. If you haven't already, consider subscribing, because it really helps out the channel. And if you haven't hit the little bell notification, do that now, so you don't miss out on any future episodes of anything, and you get notified when things get posted. Because I do try to post updates if an episode or something doesn't come out, because I do have other things that sometimes get in the way of recording. So yeah, it helps so that you guys stay up to date on those things. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns for me, or if you just want to say hi or have a fun little suggestion, leave those down below in the comment section. I try to read all of them, even if I don't reply to it. And I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one. Peace out.